And here we go. I think this is take 4, but I'm going to get it this time. I'm going to get it. So, I did not play this game. I was 3 tables over, trying to figure out how to kill an unkillable Harbinger with Ron, and crying and screaming about it like a little girl. But I heard lots of good noises coming from this table. It sounded like a lot of fun, and a lot of silly things happened. And so, some pictures were taken, and I'm going to cast this game. I'm super excited about it because it looks like a pretty crazy and weird and silly game. We have over here a turtle that is actually a Supreme Guardian. It is not a turtle. Whether that's an upgrade or downgrade is yet to be determined. The Scorn player really wants to put the Supreme Guardian on the table. He already ordered it. So here it is. We're proxying it. On the other side, the good guys are 7 Seethers and Gaspy 3 with 2 Warwitch Sirens. Yes, Seethers, not Slayers. He is trying Seether spam. Because why not? Seems cool. Let's try it. Differences between Seethers. They have Countercharge. They have Berserk. They have to run or charge, but they do so for free. And they're Mat 8. Don't know why they're Mat 8, but they're Mat 8. Pretty freaking weird if you ask me. So this is turn 1. And you'll notice there's a Seether way out there to the left, that green guy. There's a Seether way out here to the right over there by the clock. Those are not dead Seethers. Those Seethers are in the game. They are not in control. But you know what? They charge for free and they have Berserk. So why not? The Crix player is being a little bit silly, but I have to say I really approve. It's quite amusing to me. Over here on the left, there is a free Ripjaw that was used to put Hellfires into an Ancestral Guardian. The Ancestral Guardian was killed. So concludes the life of that Ancestral Guardian. Its soul is now with probably Supreme Guardian. So now the Scorn player does some silly stuff. Gaspy's on no focus, so let's go for an assassination run. That's the thought. But there's another problem. He wants to move all his stone dudes up, and their Seethers spread all the way across the map with tons of weird countercharging shenanigans and stuff like that. Which my wife says I say shenanigans wrong. Please let me know if I'm saying shenanigans wrong. It's a really important word that I really should know how to say correctly. Please send feedback to me on this YouTube channel about the word shenanigans. So, anyhow, we're back to the problem at hand. How does he move the Immortals out without getting countercharged, which is super annoying? So he concludes that one of his unit is going to kill 2 of the other dudes in their unit so that the other 2 units can get the souls and go incorporeal and move up and not get countercharged and die or care. And in this process, he thought about using the Supreme Guardian to kill those dudes. But the problem was, and so that the other units would get the souls. The problem was the way the soul manipulation thing worked. The Supreme Guardian ended up getting the souls, and then he regretted that. So he brought those guys back to life, said, "I'm sorry," made amends, and they're like, "Ah, it's okay, bro." And life went on as normal. So yay, all the Immortals got to run up there by killing their own people, and they were able to be incorporeal. Cannibalism is a thing, apparently. Over on this side of the table, those guys charged and killed that Arc Node. So that Arc Node was used to trade for the Ancestral Guardian, a 5-point model. That Arc Node then died, which was a 7-point model. However, that sounds like a bad peace trade, but they were both free, so who cares? It was entertaining, to say the least. Stuff happened, stuff died. The peace trade game has begun using free models the way it should. And I get to be a rule Nazi now. Those 2 shamans come up, they ghost shot, and they hit Gaspy, and they do some pretty good damage. But then the Raider comes up and takes shots at Gaspy, and because of cover from the objective, he misses. I get to be a rule Nazi and say that the objective doesn't give cover. Yes, it used to. It doesn't anymore. So that makes me happy. I get to contribute from this game, even though it's well said and done and over. But Gaspy was on 1 box, so the game should have ended right there if that had actually been a thing. Done. Boom. Over. He hits him. He does 1 damage. Game over. But nope. Doesn't happen. Life continues. Moving on. So here is the map. So here's what happens. Some Seethers go, countercharging and Berserk. Everything that powers up, powers up. those four mortal dudes, they're gonna die from a seether charging them and going berserk all over the place. This other seether behind the wall here isn't in range for mobility, so it just kind of runs around, takes some free strikes that it doesn't care about because both Carapace and Unyielding trigger, because that's cool. Basically, these two seethers just run back behind the immortals and prepare to be super annoying and threatening. The War Witch Sirens come up and they make their points like freaking bosses, and they each spray and kill about 4 mortals each. Because, oh, that's so good. This was not a Zaal 2 feat turn. But yeah, Gaspy heals 2 from the objective, spends 3 focus to heal, camps 4, and then feats. And Ripjaws kills some immortals as well. Just a whole bunch of killing stuff. So a couple of immortals die to the corrosion. Some vengeance happens. Ripjaw takes some damage, but everything else misses. Of all the seethers, everything else misses. And is this time to move to the next turn? It is. Yeah, so that's this spot right here. Yeah, so they start vengeancing and missing. And then the Scorn player's like, let's keep going with this assassination plan. He's half health. He healed a little bit. He's at like 6 or 7 boxes or something like that. Let's do this. So these cannibal immortals that still have a soul on themselves from cannibalizing each other, they charge Gaspy using the incorporeal and going through the house and not taking free strikes and cool stuff like that. However, Gaspy's a 15 and they're 7s. They miss the 8s. They don't kill him. Or they don't even hit him. Now he's engaged. But you know what? Let's still do this. So the 2 shamans come up and they do some shooting. The raider comes up and do some shooting. And every time a focus or fury is spent on Gaspy's feat, he heals D3. Now this doesn't come up very often because usually Gaspy's not damaged. So this was a surprise to the Scorn player, I'm guessing. And the end result, if I'm reading this correctly, is that 3 shaves later and some massive dice spikes, Gaspy healed 5 total, so he didn't get damaged. He actually, between the shaves and the healing, he actually ended up with 5 more health than when it began. That would really frustrate me as the Scorn player. More immortals charge seethers doing the incorporeal thing again because, well, you know, reasons. And then he attacks the Arc Node and removes the Arc Node from the game. Rest in peace, Arc Node. The Zaal activates. He misses his 4 attacks and cranks Gaspy up. He's just buying and boosting to Gaspy, and he keeps missing him. And now Gaspy's on full health because each time he's healing D3. So even this Scorn player's resolve has to be amazing. I would have tilted so hard right there at that moment if Gaspy went from 1 health all the way back up to full off of this crap. But he feated. So feat things are going to happen. And there were some misses that ended up killing the immortals around Gaspy. So that also happened. So going into the Crix player's next turn, I think it's assassination time because Zaal moved from right there to the front corner of that zone to take the shots at Gaspy. So the seether in that water there can charge him. There's some immortals in the way. Mobility is required. Gaspy has a crap ton of souls. Gaspy goes up. The Arc Node goes up, kills the stone guy, so it has line of sight and isn't engaged to Zaal. Then Gaspy activates, casts Calamity onto Zaal, and then forgets to cast Mobility and puts 5 Hellfires into Zaal. Zaal lives, 9 damage. He's no longer armor 23. He's armor 21 on his feet because of Calamity. But the seether can't reach Zaal. So that's super sad. And seethers kill a bunch of models. That sums up the Crix player pretty well. Gaspy's camping 0. The immortals activate and they vengeance. And they vengeance on Gaspy. And they don't kill him. And then immortals activate and they boost everything with 2 guys to deal a total of 12 damage to Gaspy. And the shaman boosts everything to hit and in melee while with aiming, and leaves Gaspy on 3 boxes, so he's hitting him even though Gaspy's in melee. And then the shaman number 2 boosts everything but misses, does not kill any of the mortals. Raider activates and misses a boosted roll onto Gaspy, leaving him at 3 boxes. Stone Man activates and threshers and kills Vocifer, buys attacks and kills 2 slayers. So that, let's see, that's this spot right here. That Supreme Guardian walks over here and basically goes to town on the slayers. I think instead of these immortals vengeancing into Gaspy, they should have just gotten out of there. Yeah, they just should have gotten out of there, because maybe Hakar or the Raiders or the Shamans would have done more to Gaspy with shooting him. That's just my take on it. The Zaal player was running out of time. He was 11 minutes going into this assassination run. He didn't feel like he could win on scenario. Didn't feel like he could win on attrition. Too much bad stuff was happening. So this was an all-in assassination run. He ends up clocking himself, which is unexciting. But just the back and forth assassination run failures on this, pretty entertaining to watch. Pretty fun to watch. I've put myself in these situations before. Matter of fact, I just did it on my last cast with Ron into Harbinger. I don't know what it is about my meta, but the 3 of us, Scorn player, Crix player, and myself, just went for assassination runs where we foolishly put ourselves engaged to the model or forgot mobility. Silly little order of activation mistakes. Because it is nice to have that melee damage. You just don't want to have that in melee damage until after you've done your shooting. Yeah, and they rolled it out. If Zaal hadn't clocked, that seether would have just gotten over there and killed him. They did the rules for that. So that's game. Let me know if you like this format. If you have games that you want me to cast, I'm more for it. I need pretty good descriptions for it. This was very well described, and I still feel like I struggled a little bit to describe this game correctly. Let me know if you like it, and also please let me know if I'm saying shenanigans correctly. I hear it maybe once a week from my wife that I'm saying it wrong. So let me know. I really want to win this argument. Thanks, guys.